Welcome to the At Home Workouts Blueprint Rapid Implementation Guide. This is lesson 2 of 5, where we're doing a deep dive into how to maximize workout efficiency so you stay motivated to crush your goals. As usual, I'm joined here by Rad Burmeister and Richard Lellies, both co-founders of Unity Gym and the Unify movement system. Plus, to my left around the table, we have our expert physiotherapist, Phil White. And of course, I'm Yanni Burmeister. Now guys, if you're watching the live podcast recording, this week we're doing a special series on how to implement our at-home workouts blueprint. The 10 secrets to a better workout at home that your friends are getting in the gym. If you are tuning in from the UMS Movement Mastermind Facebook group, on the podcast or Unity Gym YouTube channel, you can download the blueprint using the link in the description. How is everyone?
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, just loving it. I love this chat, love this topic. It's a near and dear one for me because, you know, if you're watching this as part of the rapid implementation guide for the at-home workouts blueprint that you've just downloaded, then we're recording these shows quite a few months after we did these at-home workouts, and the changes that it made in my body were just amazing. And this whole lockdown that we had forced upon us, there was that moment when my heart dropped because I realized I couldn't do my workouts anymore. I had to do these at-home workouts because I had to guide everyone through them. And I embraced it, and man, did it change me. You know, I put on 7 kilos of muscle and lost fat in 12 weeks.
Yeah, I was just watching those warm-up videos you do for the gym, playing as the class was going just before. I was like, oh, Rad's really let himself go since the
at-home workouts.
Now he's back in the gym. He's just not quite looking the same, is he?
Hey guys, before we get started, question of the day, because we do have lots of people on the live stream, and I'd love to share your experiences with the guys that are downloading the blueprint. If you did the at-home workouts, how did you go leveling up your training frequency? I know a lot of people come into our ecosystem only training 2 or 3 times per week, and I know this was a personal story for a lot of our tribe members who got involved in the at-home workouts. Over the course of the 12-week lockdown that we developed these and did these, a lot of people leveled up and ended up doing 5 or 6 workouts a week when they only started on 2 or 3. I'd love to hear your stories. Who had that experience out of everyone watching on the live stream? Big shout out to Clay, Aiden, Dave Clark, and Lee Clements. If you are on the live stream, let us know.
Yanni, throw in the question of the day into the comments there as well so we can get into it. So
I absolutely will. Well, why don't you, while I do that, build some context by reading out the lesson 2 email that would have gone out.
I also just want to say, like, you know, a lot of this stuff, you know, this is all about how to implement an at-home workout, but man, so many relevant things for being effective in the gym as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So please, if you are, back in the gym, don't think this isn't for you. Like,
absolutely.
This is the real. This is the goods. This
is
the secret sauce.
It is. It really is. This, we put a lot of effort. The 4 of us sitting around this table here, and Richard as well, into giving content away that is going to have a serious impact on your life if you implement it. So don't pay this stuff off. It's really important. So let's rip through what we're going to be talking about today. So for the Rapid Implementation Guide lesson 2, we're talking about how to maximize workout efficiency so that you stay motivated to crush your goals. And there's three steps to this. Step 1 is you need to design a workout split that hits your upper body, lower body, and core. Step 2, we need to unify strength, flexibility, and fitness in each of your workouts. That is critical. And step 3, we want to train strength and flexibility set for set to maximize efficiency, 1-to-1 ratio. Now, the main reason why our UMS at-home workouts were so successful is that despite moving from our state-of-the-art gym, we still followed proven strength and conditioning program design principles, including the all-important program split. Now below, what you'll be able to see in your rapid implementation guide is the exact program split from our UMS at-home workouts. And do you want me to read that out now, Yanni, or just keep going through with this?
Yeah, go. Yep. Read it out. Yeah.
So Monday, we do bent arm strength vertical push-pull pattern. So those are movements like shoulder press and pull-ups, but we're doing it at home with no equipment. How did we do it? Ooh, well, that's something that you're going to want to listen in for. So of course we do a warm up, then we do strength and flexibility. Well, this is every day. We do a warm up first, a 10-minute warm up. Your warm up shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. It's got to be efficient. Then we do strength and flexibility for 30 minutes, and then we do cardio and core for 16 minutes, and then a cool down for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, so that's every workout. So Monday, vertical push pull. Tuesday, squat and hamstrings. Wednesday, we did straight arm strength, straight arm scapular strength. Thursday, we did horizontal push pull. And then Friday, we did deadlifts and glutes. Now, we didn't actually do deadlifts because we didn't have access to barbells. We're at home, but we replicated the deadlift pattern. Now, some of our more advanced tribe members repeat Wednesday workouts on Saturday, and we recommend that. That's a great way to go about things if you have that level, the commitment, and if you have the flexibility to be able to do that with your schedule. So from start to finish, these workouts take 60 minutes. And most importantly, they maximize efficiency, meaning that every single workout develops athletic strength, flexibility, and fitness. I guess you could really say that the secret to our success is two things. There's simplicity. So we stick to what works to get the best results. We don't complicate things. We just keep it simple and do the things that have been proven to work over and over again. We're not trying to employ fancy tricks just to entertain people. And number two is efficiency. We train for balance in strength, flexibility, and fitness in every single workouts. And those two words are something that you really want to remember when you're trying to design your own at-home workouts: simplicity and efficiency. So just copy and paste if you're unsure how to put a program split together. Just literally use that, because that is a proven program split. It gives the 72-hour rest period from muscle groups. Like, for example, you do your upper body strength training on Monday and Thursday, and you do your lower body strength training on Tuesday and Friday. So it's giving that 42 to 72-hour rest period so that you can really go for it in each workout, rather than these sort of all-over body style workouts where, you know, you might be doing something that really smashes the quads 3 days in a row, and by that third day you can barely walk, and then you feel like you need to take a couple of days off because you've got such bad DOMs. That's not a great way to do things. So if you're training 5 days a week, if training 5 days a week seems extreme, don't worry about that, because what I just explained is what allows people to do that, and you just work at your own pace. We encourage people to work at about 70% of their max effort in most workouts so that you can train 5 days a week. Now, many of our tribe members only did 3 days a week and still got great results. So if that suits you better, just replace Wednesday with a rest day, and then you can either drop one of the upper body days or one of the lower body days, depending on what your goals are.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. There was a few key things that you said there that we're going to dive deeper into. The simplicity and efficiency notion is very, very important. Have you got anything to add, Phil, before we dive?
I just bloody love that split. I just think it just really is so good. I mean, I just have so many people come in from clients outside the gym. Had a classic one this week where, you know, he's doing a program that he's got on the internet, and, like, you know, he's loving it. He was totally loving it. He was doing exactly the same thing 3 days a week, and sometimes a fourth day. And he's been doing it for a few months, and he was like, yeah, I was really good at first, and then now I'm injured. Like, and it's not, you know.
So just to clarify, he's doing the same routine every day.
Yeah, it's a full body routine that he does 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I just don't get it. It was all fine at first. I was feeling really good. I was getting kind of good results, and now I just can't lift my arm.
Yeah. And it's such a common problem with at-home programs, and this is something that I really want to dive into today. I'm glad you brought that up, and I really want the guys that are on the live to put their experience, share with us their experience, because I know a lot of people on the live probably initially, just like many members who come to Unity Gym, they see the program split and they think, oh God, that's way more workout than I've ever done before. And my opinion of other programs, I believe that a lot of the biggest, most popular group exercise programs do this. It almost discourages people from being more consistent, because the very nature of the program design or the workout design, the way it hammers the entire body every single workout. You know, if you're only planning to exercise once a week, which is far inferior to doing 5 times a week, then it might suit you. But if you're, you know, the nature of the workout overloads the body in such a way that by midweek you've got so much accumulative fatigue built up in the entire body that you don't want to train, and quite frankly you probably shouldn't.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a sad thing when people come into Unity Gym and they ask about the membership and the program, and their first response is, I don't think I can train 4 or 5 days a week. And I think, that's a real shame that that's what you feel, because you absolutely can. It's you just don't push yourself. You don't flog yourself. And you train in a way where you walk out of the gym feeling energized and good rather than feeling trashed, So I just want to repeat, can we get the people that are on the live stream that did the at-home workouts with us to please answer the question of the day? We really want to see what you guys have got to say.
And I can see there are a few answers coming in, which is great. We're going to share those in a sec.
Yeah,
and
so we just
that comment of, it's not about flogging yourself, it's about being consistent and turning up. Like we had Sebastian Oreb come into the gym yesterday, and he was talking about with his workouts, like he doesn't miss reps. He doesn't he doesn't get to the point where he's grinding out reps. Like every workout he does is just consistent, and he knows that the next time he's done the work to then put just a conservative amount more on the bar and just can keep going and going, and now he's squatting 400 kilos, which is
for those of you who don't know Sebastian, he's an Australian strength coach on Instagram, I think, and Facey and YouTube, and he's now pretty much got the heaviest squat in Australia for his body weight
and bench press.
He is one strong dude, and it's he said it yesterday. It's about consistency. It's about
it's not consistently like flogging yourself. He has he was just saying, never miss a rep, never grind a rep.
That's right. Just keep
that progressively
overloading.
Yeah, and that's how you know when you can progress, because if you're grinding and if you're missing reps, then that means it's like, do I go up in weight? Do I drop? So.
And we're going to in tomorrow's show, we're going to go deeper into the programming principles that we stuck to make the UMS At Home Workouts so successful, which is something that we want to teach you guys so importantly. But today, I really want to dive into the notion of efficiency and the notion of how a program split can either discourage consistency and frequency of training or encourage consistency and frequency of training. And what Phil said at the very start, I love that program split. That is the secret sauce of today's discussion. We understand that not everybody can design a transformational program split, but the program split and the base foundation of programming, it is the foundation of programming, because you want to make sure, and Rad tipped on it a little bit there is, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, so I don't want to give too much away, but there is the concept of supercompensation. The way the body adapts to stimulus takes a little bit of time, and the biggest adaptations do occur when your body's recovering from that stimulus. It doesn't occur during the workout itself, and so the program split is what facilitates that recovery process. But then there's all these other psychological things happening at the same time. Consistency and routine and habit start to build and form when you've got a program split that supports training more regularly. If you've got a workout that you do the same thing over and over again, other than the fact that it gets really boring, it's just not encouraging the body. That's not how the body adapts. And unfortunately, a lot of the at-home workouts, and I don't want to spend the entire show throwing stones at what other people are doing wrong, but this is something that a lot of people fall a victim to, I guess. They buy a workout or a routine online that is just the same routine that they're told to repeat over and over again.
Well, but I can remember being a juvenile personal trainer. I mean, you and I have been personal trainers now for almost 17 years. And I remember when we started, and I remember the feeling of the fear of not giving clients something different. Do you remember that, Yanni? You remember that, like there was a real visceral reaction of this fear of, if I don't give my clients something new and exciting, they're not going to stay with me.
Yeah.
And when you are a juvenile personal trainer, that you really have that fear because you don't back yourself. You haven't been in the game for long enough to really truly understand how the results come and to know that if you do this, it's going to lead to this results. And you don't have a history. You don't have a past history to be able to say, well, look at these people, look what they got with what I do. So this is what I know I'm going to be able to produce with you. And what I think is that there's certain trainers that never break out of that. They just, that ends up being something that becomes a perpetual cycle in their training. And from our perspective, from my perspective at least, that's what I feel like I'm seeing. Because when you look at the way that a lot of these programs are designed, even the way that a lot of boot camp programs are designed, they're just not, nobody's coming up with this going, okay, well, this is a program that I know is going to allow people optimum recovery time and deliver best results and reduce risk of injury. It's just let's just smash people in this session. I've
found, as a physio as well, I've fallen into that kind of, I've caught myself thinking like, oh, I need to think of something a bit more creative here. And it's like, hang on, wait, what's the actual, what is this patient doing with their training? What are they doing with their day? Are they doing the, simple, consistent stuff right, which is going to give, have the biggest impact on their result? Like, hang on, no, they're not doing any of that. Their programming's all wrong and whatever. Like, you've got to address that before you find some fancy little rehab exercise that might proprioceptively, give you some diminishing returns on, shoulder control. It's like, but if you're not getting, a 1-to-1 ratio of, push and pull, if you're not exploring sort of, 360-degree range by doing vertical and horizontal push-pull, like, if they're not getting into that, then like one little proprioceptive exercise, just because it seems like a fancy rehab exercise, like that's not going to do as much good as just getting the basic foundations right.
Yeah, and I see the really, really popular, I've got my, for those listening in the podcast, I've got my fingers in parenthesis here, the Fitspo people, that have the hundreds and thousands or the millions of followers. And when you look at the streams, what they're posting is it's just something new and random each day. And I see exercises like people are talking about their shoulder workout or their core workout or their at-home workout or whatever it is. And it's exercises that I've never even seen before. And I've been a personal trainer for 17 years. I've been to the workshops with some of the best program designers in the world. And these are exercises that I've never seen before. So are they really good exercises, or are they something that's just been created on the spot to look different than someone else? And it's like what we were talking about in one of our recent shows, this idea of using complexity as a way to progress at the early stages. And it is just not complexity. And what we're saying by that is we're saying using a way to progress from where you are to where you want to go by adding a more complex, more challenging, more difficult movement or a more difficult workout is very rarely the right answer for the majority of people. You really have to get to a high training age and a high level of experience before increasing complexity is the right thing to do.
Unless you're training for complexity, unless your goals are some kind of like dance CrossFit kind of hybrid where you have to do weightlifting in a rhythmic gymnastics kind of way.
Competing for CrossFit's probably one of the only sports that I can think of where gym complexity in movement workouts.
But I'd say if you don't have that, if you haven't nailed that foundations first, then
100%, 100%. But I see. We spoke about Sebastian earlier. Looking at the way someone like that trains, and he trains some of the strongest people in the world, or the strongest person in the world. Hafthor, it's very specific to the training, but the training is still very simple. Very simple.
So simple. When you hear him talk about his splits to us, and even just his workouts, he just goes on about how, oh man, I just do this, and it's just really basic stuff. But when you follow those principles and you do it properly, that's what delivers the results that everyone's in the gym for. So very quickly before we jump into the comments on the live stream, I just want to reinforce the key point from today, which is the program split is very important. Don't overlook this when you're designing your own at-home workouts, guys. You want to make sure that you are spacing. We're a really big fan of undulating between upper and lower body. We even take it one step from day to day to facilitate that recovery. And if you're not going to have a rest day on Wednesday, we're going to keep it real simple and assume that your first day of training each week is Monday, not Sunday. Sunday's a rest day for us. So just to keep it simple, and of course you can plug this into the week, the way that you work based on your shifts or rosters or whatever it is that you like to do.
But really, you want to keep it simple like this. Now, we take it a little bit further and we have a straight arm scapular strength day, which on the very basic level is sort of postural corrective exercises.
Like pretty hectic core workout because all those gymnastics.
That's right, yeah. On the higher level, it's a gymnastics and calisthenics workout where we're learning to control the body's weight with the arms remaining straight. So we're not using the elbows, the elbow flexors and extensors to generate force. And so we put that in on Wednesday and Saturday, but most people, it would probably, if you're not going to go that far or get into calisthenics, you would put a rest day or something light, like some light mobility, some light cardio, steady state cardio on Wednesday, something that would completely split the day up. And then that gives you that 72-hour period where you're going to maximize supercompensation. We will talk about supercompensation in the next lesson, but it's just super important that you understand that you design a workout split that hits your upper, lower body, and we like to say core as well. If you're training, the more complex the movement patterns you're training, the more the core will be trained in that. So going into single leg movements where you have to add an element of balance, your core gets really well trained. When you start to load the body a little bit with additional weight, then the core gets trained a lot. But when you're at home, we don't have barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells. So we added a lot more additional core training in there because it's a little bit harder to get the core training when you're training at home with no external weight, no external load. When you're training big squats, big deadlifts, heavy pull-ups, heavy bench press, the core gets a great workout. At home, not so much. So we added a big core emphasis at home.
Before we go into the comments, though, we should, because we've mostly spoken about the program split in today's show, we should just quickly touch on step 2 and step 3 that we talk about with designing your program, and that is that you really want to unify strength, flexibility, and fitness into each workout. I know that where the entire fitness industry, bar maybe 1% of people that are forward-thinking trainers and gyms like us, are really getting it wrong, is that they talk about flexibility as though it's something that you do when you've got the time. So you do your workout and then the workout finishes and trainers say, now do these stretches if you've got the time, or do them at home or whatever. And the average person doesn't train like that. The average person dedicates one training session a day, and whatever the trainer tells them to do in that session is what they're going to do. Yeah. And anything else is very rarely, if ever, going to get done. So it's really, really important that you, when you create your at-home workouts, that if you give yourself an hour to train or 40 minutes to train or whatever, that within that time you are tackling the strength and flexibility component. And this is where it gets challenging to create something that is going to be really effective, because you also still need to get enough volume on strength, flexibility, and cardio, enough to make you stronger, more flexible, and fitter.
Yep.
And that's what we've worked really hard to create with our UMS At Home Workouts, is something that actually delivers results on those 3 things. But you do need to do that. And then you want to make sure that you do strength and flexibility as a 1-to-1 ratio. So the way that we do that to get best results is that when you're doing your upper body workout, you do lower body flexibility between your sets, and vice versa. So what that allows you to do is, normally when you do a workout, if you're doing strength training, you have a rest period between sets. And if you're programming intelligently, you train opposing muscle groups, so agonist movements, so that what happens is, rather than having to rest a full 90 seconds to 5 minutes for the one muscle group, you only need to rest maybe 90 seconds or so before you do an opposing muscle group, and by the time you come back to that first muscle group, it's been 3 to 5 minutes. That's the first level of intelligent programming, but you want to take it even a step further. You want to maximize that rest time so you're not sitting there doing nothing. And a really great way to do that is to do stretching or flexibility training for the part of the body that isn't even getting worked out in this workout. So if you're doing your upper body push-pull, then you're doing your lower body stretching. Yep. And that's how we did it, and it just gets great results.
Yep.
And the reason why you don't want to be stretching the same thing as you're working out is because it's it's been shown to make you not be able to produce the same sort of peak force, and also makes you kind of more likely to...
A little bit more vulnerable, yeah. And there's a couple of hidden benefits to doing the 1-to-1 stretching and strength training, which is that one of the key elements of gaining flexibility or flexibility training is it's so aligned with the nervous system. And if you follow us, our podcast, we've got a lot of content on this. when you're doing your strength training, you've only got sort of one nervous system, and the strength training is fatiguing that nervous system. And what actually happens there is you creating an environment where, with the nervous system a little bit fatigued, it actually delays the inhibition of flexibility just a little bit, which gives you a little bit of a leg up when you're training your flexibility, because flexibility training is about delaying the inhibitors from the brain to stop the movement. And so, yeah, you get this sort of nice little hidden benefit when you combine the two together.
So let's wrap this up today with going through the comments of our listeners.
Absolutely.
Huh? So we've got Clay has said, "Sup guys," he's tuning in, and Aidan Potts is saying, "Hey guys, first time in a while catching the live stream. I usually listen to them on Spotify. Thanks to Phil. Wondering how long a workout would be for doing the UMS program and flexibility masterclass." Let's answer that one later, brother, because that's not the topic of the day today. Dave Clark is saying hi all. Lee Clements is saying hi, and then Diane is jumping in saying, "Morning all. Very happy to say that I made it through my first leg day of phase 2 unscathed. Not sure if enjoyed is the right word, but certainly satisfied." That's awesome. Well done, Diane.
Good work, Diane.
So
that's the phase 2 at-home workouts. She's crushing it right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's move on to Lee. So Lee answering the question of the day, which is, if you were only training, 2 or 3 days a week, did you level up and go to 4 or 5 days a week in the at-home workouts? And Lee is saying, body took a week or so to adapt from 3 to 4 workouts to doing 4 plus of the at-home. Since then, I'm now doing 5 and planning on 6 days a week. I exercise every day and feel okay with a rest day every 10 days or so. Loving the commitment. Body is stronger and more flexible for sure. That's awesome, Lee.
Nice, Lee.
So good to hear it.
Yeah, nice one.
And Aidan Potts is saying, for me, I wasn't too concerned with the 5 to 6 workouts per week. The biggest efficiency breakthrough was the combo of strength and flexibility. I always knew I wanted and needed to get more flexible, but I never did it during my workout. I always said I'd do it later, which rarely happened. And isn't that the truth?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Aidan, because it really is... I guess, that's the sort of secret sauce to the UMS program in general. But what made the at-home workouts so special and why people got such good results is because we just applied the same principles. And that's the key here. And that's really what the message is throughout the entire at-home workouts blueprint. Just because you have to train at home, whether that's by choice because you don't, you can't justify the commitment of a gym, financial commitment, or you can't get to a gym, or you're in lockdown, or for whatever reason, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't throw rhyme and reason out just because you're training at home. It's the same principles.
Yep.
And this is what frustrates me so much about the Fitspo industry now. And I think it's fueled by Instagram and Facebook, because there's this notion that things have to be appealing to the eye, and people fall victim to that,
And
there's
new and different and exciting.
Yeah, and it stems from people, ripped people, muscular people, fit people, healthy-looking people on Instagram posting videos of themselves doing these fancy-ass, highly demanding in coordination that yield very little results. And 9 times out of 10, the way their body looks and what's appealing to you was not created by what they're doing right now on Instagram.
I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10. I'd go as far as saying almost certainly it wasn't created by that. We're a bunch of fit people sitting around this table, and I can say that when you see exercises like that, sometimes you try them just to see if you can do it for the coordination factor, but you don't do a workout where you're doing it because you know that it doesn't deliver the same results as whatever. And I've been in the army where I have trained and witnessed some of the fittest people in the world training. Like one of the guys that was in my battalion, his name's Ben Gerard, and he's he went on to being a professional CrossFitter. It's at one of the highest levels. And I used to watch him train. And that dude ran rings around the average person. I'm telling you, the intensity that guy trained at. And I've seen videos of him doing some funky stuff, but I've seen him train, and he didn't do it in his training. In his training, he did, he did sprints with a vest on. He did pull-ups.
And that's an interesting conversation for another time about CrossFit, because CrossFit, what we watch and a lot of people make this mistake. They watch CrossFit and then they assume that's how CrossFit the CrossFit competition, the WODs, and then they assume that's how CrossFitters train. And that's one of the reasons why CrossFit got such a bad name, because when it blew up, you had really uneducated people facilitating workouts like the competition in their gyms, and people were just hurting themselves and smashing themselves. But the really good CrossFitters don't train like that. They train properly with proper strength and conditioning, but then they go and compete at the games, and do really well. But that's where it got. I believe personally, that's why CrossFit got such a bad name.
And they do, and the pro CrossFitters as well. Again, this is my understanding from having trained with some good CrossFitters and them telling me what it's like training with the really good guys, and also watching those documentaries on Netflix. But they go through cycles where they work on certain things. Like they'll go through an Olympic lifting cycle where for 3 months their whole training is about getting their Olympic lifts up, or about getting their handstand and their handstand walk up. They don't train WODs 5 days a week,
Yeah, I had quite a few competitive CrossFit athletes as clients, and then I had one guy who just loved CrossFit as his way to get fit, and he's the first person who I've ever met who's not an old lady who's had a fall and lay on the ground for like 40 hours, who's had rhabdomyolysis from muscle breakdown, where he was training for a marathon plus did CrossFit at the same time, and just thought that more was better, and that the more he did, the more he'd adapt. And he got the rhabdomyolysis is a no joke, real bad.
Like you can die. You can die from it pretty quickly.
Your muscle basically starts eating itself to try and fuel itself, and it's a bad time.
Clay Conway saying here, it's weird, like I've seen trainers stand on one leg in a figure 4 stretch while doing hammer curls with dumbbells. Why? Yeah, mate, that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Efficiency,
It's because
more done in one
it's
rep.
because it gets views and likes, and then suckers people into buying a crappy at-home workout program. And Lee Clemens is saying, peak week in foundations at the moment, I have noticeably progressed and certainly found and worked on imbalances. Well done, Lee. The foundations program that's what it's all about. It's all about balancing the body.
And is that something that we're going to talk about later on in this series, Yanni, about peak weeks and deload weeks and things like that? Yeah, so tune in. It's coming. Tune in. It's coming in a couple of days, where we're going to be talking about tomorrow. There you go.
Tomorrow's all about program fundamentals and strength and conditioning. It's about, and I'll just repeat this, it's about how to bring back program periodization and become your own pro strength and conditioning coach. Okay, and
so make sure you tune into that session, because we're going to be going much deeper into what Lee is talking about there, what peak week is, and what different mesocycles are, and deload weeks, and how you
I'll give you a little heads up. Undulate your training between high and low volumes. Step 2 is to update your workouts every 4 weeks to avoid plateaus, and step 3 is to include a peak and deload week for maximum results. And
notice this is all very relevant to being in the gym as well.
So 100%.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's all we got time for. We didn't even get to hear Richie's sexy voice, so just say hello, so we know that you're there, Rich.
Hello, Unity Tribe.
Oh God, oh God, that's good.
You're listening to Richard and the super sounds.
That's right. Okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow for lesson 3 of the Rapid Implementation Guide. Thanks everyone for joining us on the UMS Movement Mastermind private Facebook group. For those of you who have downloaded the blueprint and or are watching or listening on one of the replays, podcast or YouTube channel, get yourself over to Facebook, search for UMS Movement Mastermind, join the group and get amongst it. We'll see you soon. Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, it's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that far.
It's the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.